Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, at the time of recording this, it is 10:54. At the time it's going out, it will be midday. But this, as you see in a moment, is literally breaking news. It was released at 10:27, so 20 minutes earlier, 20 minutes ago. And I'm just bringing it to you straight away, having seen it. And it's all, of course, to do with the hate crime law, because we knew we would get there eventually. I'm probably doing several videos on hate crime today because of the day it is. It is, after all, the 1st of April. And now that you're watching this and it's past midday, of course you've been caught out, or some may have been caught out by a video I did earlier. Do you know which one it was? Anyway, what we're saying now is misgendering is going to be a thing that's going to be investigated and being seen as a hate crime. And that's whether you do it verbally, online, in speech, written, anything. Misgendering is a hate crime. Although you have to ask, how do people know? Because if someone is biologically male and you call this person a biological male, are you misgendering them? No, you're describing them exactly what they are. And so they're trying now to make truth illegal. And this is why we fight. And this is why we'll win. Let's take a look. So Scots could be investigated for misgendering someone under hate crime law, warns SNP minister. And there she is. See the face? That's Siobhian Brown, a woman who doesn't even understand how dogs work. The hate crime law, which takes effect today, creates a new offence of stirring up hatred based on protected characteristics, such as sexuality, disability and religion. Now, how can you possibly misgender someone if their sex is not protected within the hate crime law? Do tell me. It's an interesting story, isn't it? How can you say whether someone is or isn't male or female if that's not a protected characteristic? It's a big hole in the law, but don't think that they've absolutely missed this hole in the law by accident. It was deliberately left out. They deliberately left sex as a protected characteristic out. Otherwise, they run the problem of having sex being protected, and therefore you couldn't allow men, biological men, into female spaces. That's why sex is not a protected characteristic. But of course, that only applies in this law. Under UK law, which sits above it, the superior law, we have the 2010 Equality Act, and that does absolutely protect you. So whatever this idiot woman says, ignore it. You're protected under the 2010 Act, and we know this because of Maya Forstater. Now, Maya Forstater took her employers to court because she believed in the differences in gender. She was gender critical. They said that's unacceptable. They fired her. She went to court. She won. And now you are allowed entirely to be gender critical because of the 2010 Equality Act, which allows you the philosophical belief that men and women are not the same, and that men are men and women are women, and a man who puts on a dress and calls himself Susan is still a man. That 2010 Act, that's superior. That means you're protected in law. So what Siobhian Brown here is saying is bollocks, to put none too fine a point on it. Because you can entirely misgender someone on the condition that by doing so and calling a him, even if he dresses like a woman, it is because your philosophical belief is that men are men and women are women. Do that, and there is precisely the square root of bugger all that they can do about it. So what we've got here is a woman trying to push fear and doubt and uncertainty onto people and failing, because we are not as stupid as they think we are. An SNP minister has warned Scots that they could be investigated for misgendering someone online under the new hate crime legislation, which takes effect from today. I will also, /tangent, point out that you are entitled to your philosophical belief under the European Convention on Human Rights. So again, that's even superior to the 2010 Equality Act. So yeah, it's a load of rubbish. So yes, carry on. Call a man, even if he likes to be known as a woman. It's not a crime. There is nothing they can do. It is not hatred. It is philosophical belief. Had that from the horse's mouth, by the way. Anyway, Siobhian Brown, Minister for Community Safety, also defended the decision not to include sex in the list of protected characteristics detailed in the controversial legislation, and I've explained why. The hate crime bill, passed by MSPs in 2021, creates new offence of stirring up hatred based on protected characteristics. However, they haven't actually defined what hatred is within this bill. And so again, this goes to court, it'll be thrown out straight away because all you've got to say is, no, it wasn't hatred, it was dislike, it was disdain. Yes, I have a right to be offensive, but being offensive is not hatred. And without any definition, legal definition of hatred, it has to fail. So it's a ridiculous bill. But it's one that we must use because we must utilise the police to investigate everything. Critics fear the legislation could see Police Scotland becoming deluged by vexatious complaints and that have a chilling effect on free speech. I will complain about that line. There is no such thing as a vexatious complaint. All you have to do is complain. Your complaint is real. It must be, because the law says all you have to do is feel offence and it becomes a hate crime and therefore you can report it. There's no such thing as vexatious. It doesn't define what vexatious is within the law. I didn't like that. I felt offended. That's a hate crime. Serious concerns exist about the police practice of recording hate incidents that fall below the threshold of a crime. We've covered that with several people being involved. Murdo Fraser being one who's deeply troubled by this. He's got a record on it. No one told him. Anyway, asked whether misgendering someone on the internet was a crime under Scottish Government's new law, Brown told the BBC it would be a police matter for them to assess what happens. It could be reported and it could be investigated. Whether or not the police would think it was a criminal, is up to Police Scotland. It shouldn't be recorded. It's not illegal. It's not a crime. Also protected, as I say, by the likes of wonderful Maya Forstater going off and winning her case. The Air MSP added, there is a very high threshold which is in the Act which would be up to the Police Scotland and would have to be said online or in person would be threatening and abusive. Asked why women had not been included in the new legislation, Brown said, we'll be going further for the protection of women through our misogyny bill which we laid down in Parliament. I don't want a misogyny bill. Why are we protecting only women? Surely if you're bringing a bill that only protects women, that's a hate crime. That's gender specific. It's a hate crime. You're attempting to bring a bill that would be a hate crime. Why can't we protect the individuality of sex, be it male or female? That way it's inclusive and not divisive and therefore not a hate crime. Siobhian Brown, are you really as retarded as your words make you appear? Yes. Yes, she is. Anyway, it comes as veteran human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell said the omission of women from the Scottish Government's new hate crime was an astonishing exclusion. Now, it's not often I agree with Tatchell, but on this one, I'm bang on with him. He says there's no protection against misogyny, and that is an astonishing exclusion because women are victims of incredible levels of hate and harassment. Yes, but it shouldn't be women only protected. It should be men and women. Why protect one and not the other? And I'm going to go so far as to say this as well. Everyone goes on about female genital mutilation. Again, sexist, divisive. Why not have a law saying no sexual mutilation, no genital mutilation at all? If people, when they grow up, want to hack bits off, change bits or whatever, up to them as adults. Let's not do it to children. He said its disturbing aspect of the law was how it allowed third-party reporting, which means I could see you have a conversation with someone else and I could report both of you for a hate crime because I was offended by what he called you. Could be two old mates calling each other wankers and things. We all do it. But that's how it happens. Now the police have to investigate. Thatchell said with anonymity being granted, this could open the door for vexatious and malicious complaints who will go after complainants, who will go after people and use third-party centres as a way of getting back at people. Yes, and that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to win this battle. The boss of the Scottish Police Federation, which represents rank and file cops, also warned the new hate crime risked causing havoc for trust in the police. Asked whether the new law risked angering both sides in the controversial debates, David Kennedy said that will cause havoc with trust in the Police Scotland and it will certainly reduce trust. He added that the law was quite an emotive subject and he thought it would take the appeal courts before the real elements of the Act and how they should be interpreted in law will come into fruition. It's basically too complex for the police, too complex for anyone. Certainly too complex for the MSPs. They don't even understand their own law, but they're going to suffer from it. And it is absolutely ridiculous. And it starts today, and we must make sure that people like her suffer. So I'm going to make a formal complaint now about what she said in this piece. I'm going to push this around. I'm not going to do it this instant, but I am going to make a formal complaint about her saying that she wants to bring in the Misogyny Act. I think that's a hate crime. It's gender specific and it doesn't include men. There should be a sexual protection crime, not just aimed at one sex. So that's a hate crime. I'm offended by that. I'm going to complain, and I hope a lot of you do too. Anyway, I'll round off here. We'll come up and we'll move to finish the video. So, in short, you can carry on misgendering. It doesn't matter. It's not a crime. So long as you believe, so long as you have a philosophical belief that men are men and women are women, and it doesn't matter how they dress. You're protected in law. Nothing they can do about it. Also, she's filled with hate. We need to report her for wanting to bring in misogyny and not any kind of equal law that protects men as well from sexual harm. I know it's very much reduced, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Hey ho. Thanks very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button. Absolutely helps the channel. Ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.